tonight is not a very interesting night for the New Patriotic Party because one of their trade colossus, Adom-Otchere Martin, has stepped out of the race, citing. That's the problem. Boakye Jaku stepped out of the race. We didn't say anything. But Adom-Otchere Martin steps out of the race, and it's because of the things that he's citing. Kwabena Agyapong gave his statement after he lost the first 5 ballots, and we didn't say much about it. But it's because of the things that Adom-Otchere Martin's statement contains is the reason why it's become a story. And because also we almost seem to be in a deja vu situation. Did this not happen before in 2008? Yes, it did. And it has happened again. Solomon says something in the Bible, the famous Solomon in Ecclesiastes. He said, what has been is what will be. What has happened is what will happen. For there's nothing new under the sun. Perhaps today we are living that again. It's not a very happy moment. It's not a very happy moment. But let's do the story. Okay. On Sunday, the 27th of August, 2023, I issued a public statement which made reference to the selection and shortlisting of presidential aspirants by the Special Electoral College convened by the New Patriotic Party on the 26th of August 2023. After having carefully analyzed the results of the said elections, it is absolutely clear to me from events leading to, during, and after the elections that the Special Delegates Conference was strategically and tactically skewed in favor of one particular aspirant. The pronouncements made by some leading members of our party, both before and after the election, also lend weight to my observations. The level of intimidation of varying intensity, directly and indirectly, unleashed on a significant number of delegates at various voting centers across the 16 regions is unprecedented in the history of our party. In addition, the fact that my polling agent in the Northeast region has suffered severe damage to his eyesight, arising from his bold and courageous efforts to ensure compliance with the very rules and regulations for the conduct of the elections as approved by the Presidential Elections Committee, I will forever remain, he says, will forever remain a dark spot in the history of internal elections within the party. This incident and various acts of violence and collusion reported in other voting centers are appalling and unconscionable and despicable. I am committed to and value the safety of those who work with me and for me, and I will always fight for their interest. He says, the question I keep asking myself is, how did we get here as a party in the first place, and how far are we prepared to tread on this dangerous path to self-destruction? That's heavy. That is heavy. That's really, really heavy. Adom-Otchere Martin says, how did we get here as a party in the first place, and how far are we prepared to tread on this dangerous path to self-destruction? Unquote. Regrettably, he says, I am not convinced that the circumstances I have referred to earlier will not persist or even be escalated in the next round of elections, for which balloting is scheduled for Wednesday, 6th of September 2023, which is tomorrow. In the light of the foregoing, I wish to confirm that I am honorably withdrawing from the process that will lead to the presidential primaries to be held on the 4th of November 2023. He says, in the next upcoming weeks, I will provide an indication of the role that I will play in politics in Ghana. After consultations with my family and other well-wishers, various stakeholders and interest groups as well, I wish all other aspirants well as they continue on their journey. I also wish to use this opportunity to express my profound gratitude once again to my family, the Allen for President campaign, A4P, campaign team, and all my teaming supporters in Ghana and from around the world who have supported me in diverse ways over the years. Please be assured that the battle is still the Lord's and that those who wait upon the Lord shall have their strength renewed. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Of course, I am a key admirer of Adom-Otchere Martin, and he says that he's going to consult people who are his well-wishers, and What do we have to tell him, those of us who are his well-wishers? Get ready, music. I'm coming to you for the cappella again. I want viewers to get it. So get ready. We have a message for Adom-Otchere Martin, those of us who consider ourselves as well-wishers. I blame one person for this matter, and I know who I'm talking about. I'm going to mention his name. The person that I blame in this circumstance is Kennedy Agyapong. If Kennedy Agyapong had not defeated Adom-Otchere Martin in this one, and when I say defeated, it means he did better than him. If Kennedy Agyapong had not defeated Alan, I'm sure we will not be where we are. It is the situation of Kennedy Agyapong coming second, which surprised many of us, except maybe my visually impaired historian and a few other analysts. The Kennedy Agyapong adventure, which put Alan at number 3 instead of an obvious number 2. In fact, Alan started this race as number 1. By 2017, when Akufo-Addo had taken the oath of office, the minds of the people, I believe, was on Alan. Somehow that kept changing and changing in 18, 19, 20, kept changing until the vote was taken by just the super delegates, which ordinarily should not be any indication. But from what we are hearing from the NPP, as Kwabena Agyapong said, and we'll be looking at it, Kwabena Agyapong said the party has spoken and not much is going to change in the main election. So perhaps I blame Kennedy Agyapong for this because he worked so hard and took a second position from Adom-Otchere Martin, who was the authentic first or second. And in all the analysis, all the conversations has been about Bawumia and Adom-Otchere Martin, Bawumia and Adom-Otchere Martin, Bawumia and Adom-Otchere Martin. And now, what do we see? We see that Kennedy Agyapong has come second. I think that is the problem here. That is part of the reason why the Adom-Otchere Martin campaign is beginning to review what they want to do and how they want to go forward with it. Somebody said on radio that it is going to be very difficult for Alan to win this contest, and perhaps that's a face-saving measure. I don't know whether it's a face-saving measure. Let's just pick up this historical resignation, and then we may come to the choir to do one stanza for us whilst we get the documentation ready. All right. It's as follows, and this is 2007, I believe. It says, I have monitored extensively media reportage and discussions. This is Adom-Otchere Martin speaking in 2007. That's why we use a photograph of that time. As you see, Alan has been a beautiful man from that time until now. But this is what he said in 2007. And we'll go also and show you what one of the party stalwarts, B.J. Darocha, recounted. What B.J. Darocha recounted about the resignation of Adom-Otchere Martin in 2008 after the 2007 context in December. This is what he said. I have monitored extensively media reportage and discussions within the past week. Following my decision to resign from the New Patriotic Party, it is clear that there is a calculated attempt emanating from certain quarters to create public disaffection against me for taking a decision on principles and to create the impression that I am vacillating on my decision to resign, thereby displaying inconsistencies in thoughts and judgment. I wish to state categorically that I have not rescinded my decision to resign from the party. The statement further read, we must also not lose sight of the fact that national interest is superior to the interest of any single party. In this regard, I will soon give a firm indication of the role that I expect to play in the political landscape of the country. This is the continuation of the statement of today. But then it's very similar to what he said today. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So it says, I have monitored extensively media reportage and discussions within the past week. Following my decision to resign from the New Patriotic Party, it is clear that there is a calculated attempt emanating from certain quarters to create public disaffection against me for taking a decision on principles and to create the impression that I am vacillating on my decision to resign, thereby creating inconsistency. It says here, the gross similarity, and I use gross in inverted commas, the gross similarity of the statement from my good uncle is what is interesting for us tonight. I have to find time and go and visit Adom-Otchere Martin very, very soon. You love his company. You would love his company. The last time he came here for an interview, we sat here and talked and talked and talked. You love his company. He has one of the best trade minds in Africa. That's why he almost became WTO boss. There's not a better trade mind that I have engaged than Adom-Otchere Martin. He's a good uncle, but at this stage and this evening, the story is not a good story. Let's see what it is, though. He says, this is 2008. He says, I wish to state categorically that I have not rescinded my decision to resign from the party. Okay, we read that already, just not to bore you with time. He says, we must also not lose sight of the fact that national interest is superior to the interest of any single party. In this regard, Alan-Kyere Martin said, then, I will soon give a firm indication of the role that I expect to play in the political landscape. Well, that role never came, the role that he's expected to play. Following from the resignation and the campaign coming together, I remember Akufo-Addo was one of those who was very, very determined to bring Alan-Kyere Martin back to the NPP fold when Alan-Kyere Martin resigned as a result of quarrels over the party. Alan-Kyere Martin was the establishment candidate, chief of staff, offered clear support to him. He lost the election. He was unhappy with it. Too many things were done. And now Hininto is one of the principal supporters of Alan and a man that I deeply respect. Now Hininto is a man that I deeply respect, that we all respect in terms of his media capabilities and what he's done to media. He taught at the National School of Communication Studies. Hininto is a great mind. He's a great guy. He's a man with a very, very young heart. And I'm going to show you what the late B.J. Darocha said about Alan-Kyere Martin's resignation and the role that Hininto played to get B.J. Darocha involved. Hininto at that time was General Secretary of the NPP and a close confidant of Alan-Kyere Martin till this day.